This is Hello Hockey with Sean Bell and Tom Gazzola.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Yeah. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out.
VIP coming live from the VIP. Heard the night.
This is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Yes, indeed. Another edition of Hello Hockey, live on location at the Downtown Community Arena for the Heavy Hockey Showdown. Belzy, Gazzola, and Benny Thompson back at our global HQ on the city's west end in beautiful Edmonton, snowy Edmonton, winter Edmonton, on the cusp of spring. Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening. We are happy to be here with you, Belzy. Before we dive in to everything, as we begin the show with the Fox Coffee morning coffee, which we don't have in our hands because it has been a scramble.
It has been a scramble
this morning.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Fox Coffee, check them out. Just 2 blocks south of Rogers Place on 104th Street. Absolutely tremendous food, great vibe, and the coffee is excellent.
I'm gonna miss it. I missed it this morning.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I could use one right now.
Yeah. That could use one.
But we are here for a good cause. We are live on location, like I said, at the Downtown Community Arena as part of Rogers Place for the Heavy Hockey Showdown in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. That's a great cause. You and I are going to be on the ice, on the rink back here shortly. Let's just get to the story of how
why we're in a bus station.
Well, we're in the lobby area of the DCA.
Oh,
and,
that's what it is. Huh.
Thank you to Dash in the Park from the Heavy Hockey Network.
Yep.
And Oilers Live for stopping by and getting us a table, B, chairs at the very
last.
We were going to be standing up doing this.
We would have done the show standing.
Yeah,
would have been really weird.
Benny, we miss you and we miss the studio. We're going to be honest here. I hope you're very comfortable.
I'll keep it
right
company
now.
here. I'll keep it company. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. This place is like Fort Knox, as we know.
It is.
We've been here for all 8 years or 9 years of.
See, this is why I don't take my bag out of the silent ice.
Yeah, this is one where I'm not going to argue with you. Usually
100%,
I'd be like,
this is the reason.
Belzy, get your stuff out of Silent Ice Center. I know there's a steam room as part of the locker room. I know there's a sauna. I know you have your laundry taken care of there. I know you have a big stall and there's a nice music system. I said, get it out of there. Come downtown.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones where I'm like, there's nobody here. Except for Dash.
We can't even get in the place.
Can't even get in the damn place. And there's a charity event happening here. So
just wicked.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, we have a
great event though.
It is a great event. It's going to be busy around here. Hunter the Lynx will be a part of it. We're going to also have Robert Clark, national anthem singer for the Oilers.
Back check?
Do you need to back check today? Well, you should. That's the answer. But I'm feeling like you probably won't.
I probably won't.
Yes. Shocking.
No back checks allowed.
This guy might not come back below center ice in his own zone.
I'll get to the blue.
The goal is 50,000.
Okay.
The Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton just recently had some funding cuts from, I believe it was the provincial government. And so this fundraiser is a big one for SACE. And so we're looking to raise as much as possible. If people are interested, they're listening or watching, whether it's on Edmonton Sports Talk or if you're listening on Sportsnet Radio in Calgary, Vancouver, wherever you might be listening, you can go to the EdmontonSportsTalk.com website. And in the header, you'll see Heavy Hockey Showdown, so HH Showdown.
Yep.
If anybody wants to donate and find out more about it, you can go there. We had the link as well. If you're watching the pre and post game show, yesterday's Oilers won 11 games on the schedule today. Belzy, we will get to Saturday's picks. We will get to Benny's blind rankings. We will get to the modern power play, and we will also have Brian Burke joining us once again. Yeah, he's going to touch base with us. He was the executive director of the PWHLPA. He stepped away. They transitioned to the new executive director in January, so Berkey probably has a little bit more time on his hands. It's a big weekend for him.
Yep.
Because Monday is St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
And he is Irish.
He is Irish.
So we'll have to ask him about that and some things that are going around or going on in and around the game itself in general. There's some fights in the WHL that caught people's attention.
And it sparks up, obviously, interesting debate again, right, around fighting. So I'm curious to hear his takes on it, because it is going to be a very controversial subject, and it's going to go on for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people did see the fight, but Terrell Goldsmith out of the Tri-City Americans got knocked out.
Yeah.
And he went face first, smashing his face on the ice, blood everywhere. They had to cancel the game.
Yes.
So that obviously raised the questions of, do you need it? Because in the QMJHL, they banned fighting.
Now, there was discussion. I know Guy Flaming on the Pipeline Show, which comes up right after Hello Hockey, by the way, on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's a great program. It's been running for a couple of decades. We had it at the old station, 1260. And I think Guy was the one who raised the question when we were doing, I think it was a hangout on Wednesday where this came up. And there were texts coming in to the station, and some people pointed out that attendance is down in the QMJHL. And just it wasn't directly linking it to a lack of fighting and physicality, but there was the question being posed, like, is there a correlation between no fighting, less physical play, less fans in the stands? And I truly don't have an answer. I would assume.
I don't have an answer to that either, but I just think, in one school, and it's funny because we were sitting after Shinny yesterday up in the summit, and we're talking about it, and it's like, okay, so I was sitting with Ryan Bast, who's
former Philadelphia Flyer,
exactly, who played a tough game.
Yes, he did.
Played with Kyle Rossiter, was sitting up there, who played a tough game.
Yep.
There's some other guys that we played with as
Rossiter
well.
played briefly with Florida.
Yeah. And so we're having this conversation, and because Bast was asking about her show and stuff like that, and he's like, well, what's the topics that you're going to probably talk about? And I'm like, well, the fighting one for sure.
Sick dangles. I'm just kidding.
Tommy's sick dangles and how he can score 6 on his family members. But what it turned into is like, there's so much old school in all of us that played.
Yeah.
There's that mentality of like, you have to, there is fighting and it is what it is. And if you don't have fighting, it changed the game. Now, if you look at it, is the game changed? Yeah, the game has changed. But at the same time, you take the fighting out, is there going to be more dirty, cross checks? Is there going to be more dirty play? Is there going to be more spears? Is there going to be all that stuff? Because there's no fear of retribution.
No.
And the answer to that question is maybe.
Do you see it with the kids you're coaching?
I see it all the time with the kids I'm coaching.
Yeah.
But if you take it out, is like, has the cube gotten more dirty? I mean, that would be a very interesting question to find out.
I don't know much about the QMJHL, to be honest with you. Like the Memorial Cup and World Junior time is when I get my updates, essentially. Thank you, Dash. Dash in the Park from the Heavy Hockey Network and Oilers Live, hooking us up with some Aquafina. Very nice.
But it's, like,
suited up too.
Okay, so the Q, it's been weird because the Q did it, and Q was always known for having, you're either one of two guys. You're either a guy that was ultra tough,
yes,
or you're a guy that was ultra skilled. That's what they were known for a long time. So
no in between.
There's not much in between. There is in between everywhere, but like that's really what they're known
for. Here's my thing. You and I we're born in the mid '80s. You played against each other before you went off to the WHL, and I went and had the best 4 years of my life in the jungle, junior B.
Attaboy.
Yeah. But Benny Thompson's from a different generation. Benny's younger. Benny's finishing up college. He's going to be a great broadcaster. His buddies play at Nate. They play at the U of A. They play for the Golden Bears. Benny, I'd ask you, like, how do your buddies that play at those levels play in the WHL, AJHL, BCHL? Like, what kind of players are they? Do they talk about fighting and beating the snot out of somebody, or is that something that would be barbaric in their eyes? Because you guys, everybody talks about the game and they share stories and stuff like that. What do you hear from your buddies who are in their early 20s, late teens?
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I feel like it seems like every generation, like to a degree, I think gets a little bit softer and fighting gets less and less. It feels like, at least I can speak for my buddies. Like the ones that are still playing, they'll chuck them. They have fun doing it. But they're also like, they understand like the presence of what that can have in the game. And I think that's just our dads teaching us. It was my dad taught me from a very young age. It was like you stick up for a teammate no matter what situation. If you got to do something tough then that's just what it is. It's your calling. That's what it is. So, like knowing your role as well too. Like maybe you don't want your skill guy doing that, but if you're a guy that it may sound bad, but in Adam's second year, I was third line getting sat in the D zone draws, and then get pulled out for O zone draw. Like that's a little extreme when I was young, but like even that taught me at a young age, like knowing a role and like having value in not just scoring points, but playing other sides of the game, right? So, I think a lot of people in my generation, at least, I think understand it, but it's definitely not as tough as what the people before me were going through and all that.
So they understand it, but they don't enact it.
Yeah, like I think of it like they're not looking for it in some situations. Like I mean, for like I'll give Marc Lajoie is a tough guy. He looks for it. He's one of the guys that looks for it. But I definitely have a couple of buddies that are on Nate or on other teams that prefer not to do that type of stuff. So I don't know. It could be a mixed bag, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, the older generation, like there's lots of guys that didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Like it's really
I didn't
not
like
that,
getting punched in the face.
Fun.
I would try to punch the guy first.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think the question goes to, okay, well, you look at what happened with Goldie, and you see this kid who is a kid get knocked out, and then he hits face first on the ice, and he's convulsing. And as a two schools of thought. You got your old school players where it's like, no, that's the risk, blah blah blah. But literally, if you pull yourself out of the hockey world, and this is what the conversation that we were having yesterday goes to, is that if you pull yourself out of the hockey world and you go to whatever job and you talk to them about like, hey, this is like, do you think it's acceptable? Most people would be like, no, it doesn't make sense that you're having kids fight.
Right.
Well,
so 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But I understand fully that it's part of our game. It's part of the fabric of our game. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I think it should be gone.
Yeah.
But that always raises a question. And if the QMJHL is doing it and the game is better, I don't know what it is. I can't answer that question because I'm not there. But it brings up the question of, do you need those kids to be doing that fighting? It's different for the NHL because these guys are obviously older. They make money. They do it for a living. I understand that part. And one of the comments that was brought up was that, well, are you setting up that player for failure? So once he gets to pro, all of a sudden you're playing a guy that's, 8 years into it. He's got 150 fights and you've got 0 and you're just going to take a beating. So like there's obviously so many different things that go with that. So it's interesting conversation. It's a very it's a hot button issue.
And that's why Brian Burke will be on the show to discuss things like that about the game, because he's watched the evolution of it.
Yeah.
And he's got the forefront of it. So Berkey will join us at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll start hour number 2 with David Pagnotta. We have plenty on the way. We'll get to Belzy's Saturday picks. We'll also have Benny's blind rankings. And we do have our next feature, and this is a good one. I played hockey last night. Jared came out and played for Modern Measure because portions of this hour are brought to you by Modern Measure as we get to the power play. Edmonton's leading provider of made-to-measure clothing, from weddings to graduations, game day to the office. Get custom fit business and casual wear for a one-of-a-kind look made just for you. A bunch of the Oilers, the broadcasters, you and I included, Chris Knobloch and Keith Gretzky. I think Connor Brown got a suit made. I know Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has one done. The Edmonton Oil Kings are literally on the ice practicing. They're taking on the PA Raiders tonight. A bunch of them have been suited up by Jared and Richie at Modern Measure. So the boys are doing good and making people look sharp in and around the game. By the way, the Oil King, you want to talk about looking sharp? The Oil Kings tonight are wearing Edmonton Flyers throwback jerseys.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Blue and yellow.
I love it.
And great. The Flyers exist, I think it was 1940 to 1962. They ceased operations during World War II. They played in a bunch of different leagues. They won in the Allen Cup. They were the farm team, I believe, for the Detroit Red Wings. So a nice touch and a look back to some great Edmonton hockey history. Something that I think gets forgotten is the Edmonton Flyers. Yes. So the Oil Kings doing that tonight. Kevin Radomski, and Rogan Dean collaborating on that to make it happen, and we're looking forward to seeing that. I'm going to the game tonight.
Are you?
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm going to go for a little
That'd be
date night
nice.
at the
Yeah,
game.
that'd
It's
be
going to be
great.
lovely. All right, let's get to the Modern Power Play with Jared and Richie. I think Jared's doing it today, brought to you by Modern Measure.
Hey everyone, it's Jared from Modern Measure. I'm here for your weekly installment of the Modern Power Play. I figured that we just came out of the trade deadline week, so I would focus on some of the bigger names that were moved, and we can focus on what they're wearing. So let's get at her and start off with the one and only Mikko Rantanen. This suit is right up my alley. I love this. It's a nice gray suit with a nice pattern. I'm all about this. This is a classic notch lapel, 2-button front, straight pockets, very timeless look, never goes out of style. It's very classic. Now I love it with the black shirt as well. I wear a lot of similar looks because they say black makes it look slimmer, which is a lot easier than going to the gym. So kudos to this suit. Good job, Mikko. All right, moving on to suit number 2 and Seth Jones. Again, classic suit style like Mikko was wearing, great for any occasion. Seth is wearing a nice royal blue suit with a soft pattern here. It's giving it a little bit of life without being overpowering. Now, a blue suit like this is always great to have in the closet as it can be easily accessorized with your belts, your shoes, your shirts, your ties. It's very open palette. I do really like the darker lapel buttonhole that he has here. It gives it a little fun, but it's not over the top. All right, moving on. And now I'm sorry, Canucks fans, but here we have the Rat, Brad Marchand. So much for retiring a Bruin, I guess, but nonetheless, it's a very sick look here. Now I love this wine colored suit with subtle window pane. The suit is also that classic notch suit, but here Brad's rocking a 3-piece, so he's got the nice 5-button V pointed bottom vest. Like I said before, very timeless. I really like the black shirt and wine color tie. It's a great attention to detail. Overall, a really nice look and a great color to have in your arsenal if you already have your staples, your blues, your grays, your black, and even like a brown. So overall, great job, and I wish you the worst in Florida for these playoffs. So now, this one was a big deal to a lot of people, not a big trade. For me, I liked it because the Oilers need some size and grit. So here we are with Trent Frederick, and he's wearing a really nice overcoat. It's a PK collar, 6-button double-breasted jacket, and it's in a really nice tan beige. Now, what you like about this color is it can be worn with a lot of different suits. Pretty much your whole wardrobe, this can go over it. So it's really nice because it's really easy to move up and down in lineup, kind of like Frederick should be for the Oilers. Now, one other great detail is the cuff sleeves. This is a fun thing to do every once in a while to change it up and add a great detail to an otherwise quite clean look. Okay, now for the last suit, I choose to go with the player that Hello Hockey's own Sean and Tom picked as the #1 rated player traded at the deadline, Luke Kunin. Now, Luke here is wearing a nice classic gray suit that is really good for pairing with anything. I think I've talked about this many times. This is a 1-button front though. It makes it a little different than a regular everyday suit. Usually it's a 2-button front. This is more typical for a tuxedo or a dinner jacket. So now a light, medium, or dark gray is a must for every closet for versatility. And I don't really have much more to say about that. I just really kind of wanted to get the Kunin jab in there. Well, that about wraps up this week. Again, thanks Hello Hockey. Thanks Edmonton Sports Talk. We're starting to get a little more buzz about our segment and from the listeners of your show. So we appreciate that, and we'll see you soon.
That was a good dig.
Unbelievable.
That was a good dig. Well played, Jared.
Woo! Kunin #1, baby. Come on.
Shut up, Ben Thompson. I watched that last night. And I was like, we got played bad. We got played so bad. And a fresh edition of Benny's Blind Rankings coming up later in the show. Jared, great stuff there. Jared and Richie absolutely knocking it out of the park with the Modern Power Play. And, well, I'll tell Jared, hey, are we looking at the ceiling? Or are we looking at your suits in your stores? And anyway, that's the only jab I'd have. We'll teach them about headroom and framing.
No kidding.
Otherwise, that was a tremendous edition of the Modern Power Play brought to you by the good guys over at Modern Measure. You can text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well on this Saturday. We are live on location at the Downtown Community Arena, getting set for the Heavy Hockey Showdown in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. All of our gear is literally like right here.
Yeah.
Off camera. It's the magic of television. The Edmonton Oil Kings on the ice right now, getting set, morning skate, as they take on the PA Raiders tonight. They're going to be wearing those really nice, really sharp Edmonton Flyers throwback uniforms, and it's going to be an awesome time here at Rogers Place. Okay, we have 11 games on the schedule. We have Ottawa at Toronto, Florida's at Montreal, and Chicago at Vancouver. That's the Canadian teams that are playing today. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss anything as I was prepping for today's show. It's getting dicey in the Western Conference. The Oilers win yesterday.
Yep.
They leapfrog over LA, who had passed them for second in the Pacific Division. You've got the Flames, Bellsy. I like the Flames' chances of actually taking that second wild card spot. I know they're tied with Vancouver. Both teams an equal 30-24-11 record. A great game, at least I thought, earlier in the week between Calgary and Vancouver. Went to the shootout. Vancouver wins it in the shootout. They had the come from behind win. I think that's going to be a great battle, but I do like Calgary's chat. To me, they're just a pluckier team.
They are a pluckier team.
More positivity around the Flames than
Couldn't
the
agree
Vancouver
more.
Canucks. And
It's just it's disappointing that Vancouver's kind of fallen the way they've fallen.
yeah,
Because I thought that there would be, just another team that's in the mix to make that division way more competitive. And unfortunately, they just had all this drama, and it's just taken away from their game.
there's always drama around them.
It's just, it's really disappointing. But I mean, at the end of the day, Calgary gets in, which is good.
If they do, yeah.
That's a good success story for the Flames, because they, at the start of the year, I don't think anybody would have said, "Oh, the Calgary Flames are going to be knocking on the door of the playoffs."
Nope.
Everybody would have said, "Okay, well, they're in full rebuild mode, and they're looking to potentially get a high draft pick." But Greg Conroy came on and basically said, "We're not rebuilding; we're just retooling."
I thought he was full of it. He's proven me completely
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
That's why he is a
That's
general
why he's
manager.
a GM.
Yep. Actually, we've had a lot of Flames management come on. We had Joe McGinley, we
Yep.
had Brad Pascal. It's been awesome. We had Lenny McDonald.
Yeah, we did.
Although we have had Kevin Lowe hop on here, and we had Bill Scott from the Oilers, so that's good. We'd probably like to get a little more Vancouver content.
Yeah, we should probably try to do that.
Irf Gafar was really good. I know he's not
Irf was
part of the
good.
team. Irf was
Talked to
excellent.
Freddie Brathwaite's brother, I think, works for the Canucks.
Yeah, he does.
So-
But it's not on the management. Is he
I don't
not?
know what he does anymore.
I know. I'd always see him like, is that Fred? But no, it's his brother. He looks
Yeah.
exactly like him. But
Great
Yeah.
human being, though.
anyway, let's get to this text. You can get in on the action if you want to chat with us. 780-218-9999. That is the number for the text line. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Get into the nasty chat. Nate in Vancouver says, Nate in Vancouver here. Oil Country will receive a huge breath of fresh air when Trent is ready. Speaking of Trent Frederick, we'll finally have a guy that drives the net and pushes back when things heat up. Too many soft players on this team. Bellsy,
Mm-hmm.
what say you? Because they are fragile.
Why? Why are they fragile?
Honestly, I have no answers to that right now.
They need Frederick in the lineup badly.
Sure.
But
But can you be that's the savior? Can you be like, he's going to
you
change
can't point to him
everything?
and say he's going to change everything, because at the end of the day, there's still elements of the other guys in the team. There's other guys in the hockey team, and whether they decide that they want to play that way or not is a completely different story.
Right.
So, will he help it? For sure.
Mm-hmm.
If you get Evander Kane back, will he help it? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If he's
Wow.
healthy enough to do it, then yes.
Yeah.
Because you get into the playoffs, you need some bigger bodies, and you need guys that can play that way. And the Oilers have been just too soft this year. There's just no way around that. They just have been.
The fragile thing is the scary part, especially this time of year.
Yeah,
I'm hearing Chris Knobloch use that a lot, or used it 3 times in a week and a half span.
I don't like the fragile one, because that just tells me that your team is not doesn't have the ability to overcome adversity, and that's a problem. If that's actually the case, then that's a legitimate problem.
That's something they were able to do earlier in the season, a
Mhm.
22-6-1 run between mid-November to late January. And the last month and a half, it has not been pleasant for Oil Country. Jimbo via the Nasty Chat says Calgary is playing above expectations because of that sweet, sweet promise of a free rink. It's not a free rink, but getting that little political jab in there.
Yeah,
Nicely done, Jimbo. All right. When we return, we're going to catch up with Brian Burke. It's always great to have him on the show. So he's ready to rock and roll. We're going to step out for a quick break. We're live on location at the Downtown Community Arena. We're here in support of the Heavy Hockey Showdown, which is raising funds for SACE, Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, had its funding cut recently by the government. So this is a big fundraiser. Belsey and I will be on the ice after the Oil Kings are done practicing and having their morning skate. I see the Heavy Hockey boys showing up, getting ready to go. You can text us 780-218-9999 if you're watching. Get into the Nasty Chat. We're going to take a quick break. When we return here on Hello Hockey, it is Brian Burke. He's always fantastic.
Berkey.
We'll be back right after this.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Majot Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast, located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
This is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Welcome back to Hello Hockey. Tom Gazzola, Sean Bell with you. Ben Thompson back at Edmonton Sports Talk Global HQ. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, you can text us 780-218-9999. If you're listening on Sportsnet Radio in Calgary or Vancouver, you can get into the inbox as well. And then, of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button and you can join the conversation via the Nasty Chat. All right. He is standing by. It is Brian Burke. And as we bring him in to Hello Hockey once again, I should mention that portions of this hour are brought to you by Nexar Equipment. If you need maintenance, service, or repairs on your vehicle or heavy equipment, score a 10% discount at Nexar Equipment with code Hello Hockey. Visit nexarequipment.ca or call 587-402-6665. Go say hi to Tyson and Scott, and they'll take good care of you. Let's bring in our first guest of the show, Brian Burke. We tend to have him on, I think, once every season. This might be
Once
the third
every
or fourth
season.
appearance.
Gotta have a
Signature look today for Berkey, which looks fantastic. I know it's a big weekend. Berkey, I was telling Belsey, I'm like, Monday's a holiday for Berkey. It has to be with St. Patty's Day. But in the meantime, what have you been up to? I know you stepped away and were the executive director with the WHLPA, but what are you keeping busy with right now?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on, guys. And I'm going to have to work on Monday, which really aggravates me. The Flames are playing at home to the Leafs, so I got to work, which really frosts me. Anyway, I don't know what comes next. I'm waiting to see. I stepped aside voluntarily. When I took the job, I told the women I would give them 2 years, and then a woman had to take over. So that's what's happened. It was all set up in advance. No hard feelings, no walking away mad or anything. It was all set up, and a very talented young lady is taking over. So I don't know what's next, though.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to just follow up with this because, Brian, we saw 17,000 plus at Rogers Place just a month ago. It was Toronto and Ottawa playing here. It wasn't just young girls in attendance and women. There was a lot of guys there, obviously a lot of hockey dads out there with their girls playing. And I know it's a showcase, but this league in its second year, what can you say about what it has been able to accomplish? Because it seems like there is great momentum and it is building up a genuine fan base and true momentum.
Yeah, I think no one could have predicted the success we'd have had the first 2 years. It seems like we've been in business for 5 years, but really we're halfway through the second year. So it's been remarkable. Again, getting 18,000 one time is very different from selling 20 games in a package. Mm-hmm. But it's a good indicator for expansion and future expansion places. So it's been great. Over 100,000 people have gone on a takeover tour game this year. 10,000 the other night in Raleigh. You mentioned Vancouver, Seattle, Denver. So it's amazing.
Belsey.
Yeah, no, that's it is amazing. You're right. To see that progression that quickly is fantastic. Berkey, you've been in media, you've been executive directors in the NHL. You have literally done anything in the sport, and obviously, stepping down. Is there something that you would have a preference on doing? Would you get back into the media and want to do the analyst stuff, or you just kind of just waiting for the next opportunity, whatever that may be? Yeah, outside of working on Monday.
I don't know, Sean. I'm not sure what comes next. Media. I turn 70 next in June. I will be 70 years old. Not many people are hiring 70-year-olds, and so I have not heard from anyone in the media. I do a couple things. I do a show on Sirius XM every day, every Friday. I do a podcast with Jeff Merrick, and I do a show with Edmonton Media with Ched, with Bob Stauffer, which I really enjoy. But that's it, those three things. So no national media, and it might be time. I might have to start working on my next book.
Yeah,
Berkey, Staff better be paying you really good, okay? I'm just saying, to put up with him. I had to do it for 8 years working with the Oilers, so I just want to get that dig in there.
Well, it was great last night because he got stuck in traffic. Bob didn't. I got to go on with Brendan Escott instead.
Well, Escott just got married last weekend.
Exactly,
yeah, he
exactly.
did. Okay, here's a good question because, Brian, I mean, you were obviously involved in major junior hockey. That's where you and Sean had your connection in Tri-City. We were talking about this off the top of the show. There was a fight last week in the WHL. Young guy got knocked out, hit his head on the ice. They had to call off the game. Ambulance rushed him to the hospital. And we were talking about how the QMJHL doesn't have fighting anymore. And we had texters earlier in the week at our station saying, hey, that's why there's less attendance in the QMJHL. If you look at the attendance across the board. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I didn't assume as much. How do you evaluate that? Because, I mean, as a businessman in the game of hockey, you want people in butts filling those seats. But then at the same time, as somebody who's looking after these kids who are becoming young men and eventually be adults, not all of them can play pro hockey. There seems to be a balance there, and there's something that's shifting in the game. How do you assess it in general?
Well, first off, it's very unfortunate what happened. I'm glad the boy seems fine now. He says he's going to make a full recovery. But that's a scary incident, and we don't like that, and no one likes that. No matter whether you're a fan of rough hockey or not, no one likes to see someone get hurt. But the game is not safe. It was never meant to be safe. It never will be safe. Even if you go into non-checking leagues, if you leagues where there's no fighting, there's still players get hurt. And every sport you play carries some risk, even non-contact sports. People die jogging, you know what I mean? Like it's a risk of contact sports, even higher, full contact sports, even higher. And so you assume you're aware of those risks, you assume certain risks, and you have to take them if you want to be a hockey player. Now, the league has cut down on fighting substantially, significantly over the last 30 years or so. Many rule changes. Fighting has almost disappeared, but there is still a place for fighting, in my view. I think there's a place in the game for fighting, and it's unfortunate, but we're going to have incidents like that from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. Like, I think that obviously fighting is ingrained in our sport, and especially for, people that were, I guess, that were in hockey before they obviously transitioned to what it is now. But, you sit on the other side of the fence and you ask the question, like, the Q takes out fighting. Is the game safer? I don't know. I don't know that answer, but it's going to be a hot button debate and people are going to talk about it all the time. And, one of the things that we've talked about here is that, like, okay, well, in the NHL, fighting, you keep the fighting in there because obviously these guys are, the professionals. This is their living. But there's a conversation, I guess, on the kid side. Is it a situation where maybe that gets removed and that's why the QMJHL said it? Because they're like, well, these guys are kids and we don't want these kids having to fight. But then when you get to the NHL, like, it obviously now we talked about earlier, is that now you're going to run into a guy potentially that's played for 8 years, has got 150 fights, and you try to have that first one, and that's not going to go well. Like, what would you say to that comment? Because it is like, I think the issue is more along the lines of the kids having to fight as opposed to fighting in general in the game.
Well, I think first off, I think your first question is the most important one, Sean. Is hockey safer when you take fighting out? Because I don't believe it is.
Yeah.
I think hits from behind,
Yes.
elbows, all the stuff, stick work, all goes up dramatically when there's no safety valve. There's no opportunity to address these things in a conventional way. So I disagree with the assessment that, or the judgment that getting rid of fighting makes the game safer. I don't think it does. But junior leagues are free to do what they want. I don't try to tell junior leagues what to do. I think that it's silly, though, to say we're going to get rid of fighting because it'll make the game safer. That's silly.
Hitting from behind was crept into the NHL game too. We're seeing a lot of that.
That's something that, in my opinion, needs to be cracked down on way more, because I think those are the plays there that are very, very dangerous. And you look at go ahead. And
then sorry to interrupt, Sean. I want to make sure I don't forget this. The clean hit fight troubles me. Mm-hmm. When I played, the only guys that got a fight, if someone got a clean hit, was the goalie and the star. So our star player was Blake Dunlop. He won MVP of the league. Someone took a shot at him. Yeah, they had a fight. And someone ran our goalie. They had a fight. Now you hit a guy, hit a schmuck like me, because I'm not smart enough to keep my head up, and someone wants to fight. I'm like, back when I played, someone would yell at you, keep your head up. Now someone wants to fight. So I don't like clean hit fights as a rule. I'm not tearing my hair out when I see one, but I don't like them.
So what has changed with that in that regard then? Because I would say that it's slowly but surely starting to shift more to every single time there is a big hit, there's always that fight. So yesteryear, as you're saying, it never happened. It only happened with your star player. So what has changed in that respect?
I think just people admire guys that answer the bell for a teammate. And there's an admiration that comes to that. Like you saw Nate Schmidt the other night in Toronto. He's playing the game in Toronto for Florida. There's a big hit. He fights Max Domi reluctantly, but he does his job, gets smacked around a little bit. He did the right thing. He answered for a teammate. I thought it was a clean hit. I don't know why he fought, but I thought it was admirable. So I think part of it is we say we don't like clean hit fights. I don't really like them, but I don't mind them either. I'm not tearing my hair out when I see one. Yeah. I get why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes sense.
Brian Burke joining us now. We're live on location at the Downtown Community Arena as part of Rogers Place. We're here for the Heavy Hockey Showdown in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. You can check out the fundraising page if you'd like to donate on the EdmontonSportsTalk.com website. Belzy and I are going to be on the ice in about an hour and a half. Berkey, wish us luck because we're a couple of old fogies compared to some of these young guys, and at least we're raising funds for a good cause. On the other sheet of ice here in Edmonton, we've got a team that has been described by its coach as fragile with the Oilers, and they have two of the best stars in the world. They're supposed to be a cup contender, but right now they're struggling. They have 6 wins in their last 16 games, and they're barely scoring goals. When you hear fragile around a team in the stretch drive, as a hockey exec, if you were a GM, how alarmed and worried would you be?
Not alarmed, because I think this coach is very candid with his players, very candid with what he says. I think it works. I think Knoblauch is very frank with his players, very, very frank and straight with his players, like I was. When I talked to my players, they knew I was telling them the truth as I knew it best. I might be wrong about something, but they knew I was telling the truth as I knew it. And so when Knoblauch talks like that, I think he's just being frank and honest. Mm-hmm. Teams go through periods. I said this last night on the radio in Edmonton with Brendan. Teams go through funks. They go through lulls in the schedule. They go through dead patches, whatever you want to call it. And I said, like 12 hours ago or 24 hours ago on the show, I said they'll come out of it. And they did last night, obviously. They still have two of the best forwards in the world. They've upgraded on defense with the decisions they made. They're going to get Trent Frederick back soon. I like their team. I think they'll be all right.
Okay, I have this follow-up question. It comes in actually via the text line. It's Ryan from Saskatchewan, says, morning, guys. Berkey, do you think there's a mental fatigue associated with a team like the Oilers? They've been playing catch-up, it seems like, since November of 2023. Mix in a short summer from the long run last spring, and it's caught up with them. What are your thoughts on that?
That's extremely possible. It's a good theory. The Saskatchewan boys are usually pretty smart. That's a good theory. I would say there's probably something to that, but I don't know. I haven't talked to any of the players about that or to Coach Knoblauch. So to me, I'd say there's something to it. It's not simple. It's not easy to have a deep run and then come back and expect to be. This team is expected to win their division, and they're not. And that's the burden of those expectations is not easy. So it could be fatigue. It could be a lot of things. The one thing I know is they better figure it out quick.
Yeah, they better, because they keep kind of dipping in and out of those top 3 spots in the division. LA is catching them. We just went through a trade deadline, Berkey, and as a GM, we're obviously very curious what goes on behind the scenes, because I can't imagine that the phone just rings once and you make a trade, or you pick up the phone and call somebody, and then all of a sudden that trade happens. Like, can you just share, maybe just from your time, like, how hard is it to make these trades? Because it's one of these things when you get into certain markets, and here in Edmonton, for example, well, we're upset because we didn't get this trade, or we didn't have this many trades. And I can only assume that it can't be the easiest thing in the world, because you don't want to destroy your entire, prospect pool. You don't want to completely empty the cupboards, but at the same time, you want to try to find ways to win, especially if you're in that Stanley Cup window.
Okay, so I'll give you a 3-minute answer. I can't give you a real quick answer on that.
Love it.
Number one would be, it depends on where your team is. What you're looking for will depend on where your team is. If your team's in contention to win, you're willing to pay high prices, and you're willing to overpay. You're willing to do whatever you can to get you over the top. That's where the most mistakes are made. Like, you look at Florida loaded up, but so did all the teams in their division loaded up. So that's a problem. Once you get close, the price tags go out the window. Then there's a second group of teams that are trying to finally win a second round. They get in the playoffs, but they can't win a round, or they can't win a second round. They're just trying to upgrade. They pay less price, but they're still anxious. And the third group of teams are teams that haven't made the playoffs and would like to get in if they can. And they're not going to pay. They're not going to overpay to get their asses kicked in the first round. They're not going to give you a first round pick. just to go out hard. So the trade deadline, the work is phenomenal. You're right, Sean. It's not one call. I mean, that has happened to me. I have made a trade on one call where I got last minute shopping and someone said, would you do this? But in general, you're doing the yard work way in advance of any deadline. You're starting back in the fall, saying what you identify your needs. Some teams are really easy to deal with. Like Paul Holmgren would say to me, I will trade this guy, that guy, this guy. I will trade my first round pick. I need a left winger and I need a right shot defenseman. Is there a fit? And we could go through it and see if there's a fit. If there is, we make a deal. If not, we move on. So it's a big, wide spectrum of how guys do it. But generally speaking, you're working the phones constantly. If a big deal goes down, you don't know the players that were involved. If you're not aware of that deal going down, you're not doing your homework.
Brian, I'm curious about this because the spotlight was on Carolina. Obviously, they traded Rantanen after making a big splash, getting him out of Colorado. They flip him over to Jim Nill, who signs Rantanen to a long-term deal and makes the trade with the Hurricanes. They've got a rookie GM. I know he's been an assistant GM for a while. By all accounts, a really sharp guy. But if there's a new GM in the league, do other GMs look at those guys and go, I think I can, to a certain extent, hustle so-and-so or work them over and force them into a deal that he might not think isn't bad, but I'm actually stealing from him essentially. Can guys, and have you experienced guys who hadn't been GMs for a long time, can you take advantage of them as an experienced veteran GM? Does that happen, or have you experienced that?
No one would ever do that.
Okay, I believe you.
Trying to take advantage of the new guy. There used to be a saying, if this guy's first night in jail, someone's going to get to him. We might as well be us. That's the thinking. Is Glenn Sather used to mispronounce names. He'd call you and say, you want to trade for Kevin Lowe? He'd say, who's that Law kid? Who's that Law kid? And I'm like, what? I'm looking at my list. There's no, you mean Kevin Lowe? Yeah, Kevin Lowe. He knows perfectly well who he's talking about.
Right.
He's trying to suck you in like, Sather doesn't even know his own players. Mike Keenan used to do that too. So yeah, there's a mentality, and it's better now. Back when I first became a GM, which is a long time ago, there's a bunch of pirates around, and their idea of a good deal is to get you fired. And now it's more, let's make a deal that works for both teams. In the Carolina case, I don't know the new GM. I hear he's really smart. I think for him to get that far, to make that deal, which was shocking, to make that deal in the first place without some assurances that he wanted to come back, I think was really, really not smart. Really not good preparation. But he recovered nicely. He made a good trade to get the player back to Dallas. Stankoven and 2 firsts.
It is a decent return. I mean, if you really think about it, because I mean, you're in a position where.
Yeah, but Sean, hang on one sec.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's where your team is. They got Rantanen. They were trying to take a deep run. Now they got a young kid who I like a lot. He's a small young kid, and they got 2 first-round picks we're not going to see for 2 or 3 years. So it's a very different dynamic for their team. They did not. If that was their goal, to get Rantanen and take a deep run, they failed.
I'm going to go into the text line one more time for Brian. It's been awesome having Brian Burke on here. Just truly an honor and a pleasure every time you come on with us, Berkey. This one comes out of Calgary. It's Stanley in YYC. He says, morning, hello, hockey. Morning, Berkey. While it's a success, the Flames are where they are, along with Vancouver's downfall. Both teams are tied as of today going into action, by the way. Do you think the Flames are only where they are because Nashville has literally fallen off a cliff? I'll listen for as long as I can before I'm on the ice for my final today. My second ever tournament as a goalie. Cheers. Stanley in Calgary.
Well, he's not paying. If he's a goalie, he's not paying to play.
That's right.
Attaboy, Stanley. Good luck. No, I don't think it's Nashville. It's puzzling, but I predicted they would have a tough year. I didn't like the deals they made off season. So it's not just that. Craig Conroy's done a good job in Calgary, and Ryan Huska he won't get coach of the year because Spencer Carberry probably will. But Ryan Huska should get some votes. That team's hanging in there with good coaching and some good moves. I like the 2 Philly guys. They're both helping. So, no, it's not just because of Nashville. That's helped, but.
Yeah.
Vancouver, what is Vancouver? They won the Pacific last year, and You're hearing like, is Rick Tocchet coming back? They trade JT Miller. What's going on with Elias Pettersson? How do you look at their scenario right now, even though they're still in the mix?
Well, they're still very much alive, and Rick Tocchet's a great coach. If they can get in, he'll get in. He'll get them in. There's been so much turmoil, though. It's really hard to focus on hockey, talk about their team without all the sideshow stuff with Pettersson and JT Miller. And they don't get along, and then they're going to trade one of them. They trade one guy. The other guy goes in the sewer. So it's amazing they're still in there with the number one goalie's hurt. And they've had all this turmoil, and yet they're still right there. So I wouldn't count them out.
I got one last one for you, Berkey, because I got to get you into story time, because obviously you've got great stories from all of your different your years in the game. I'm going to give you two options because I've listened to all of your Hey Berkeys. One is how hockey was different in the 70s. Obviously, there's some funny stories that go with that, or Bieksa's fight that led to a contract.
Well, if I'd have to think hard on the first one, I'm not good on my feet anymore. I'd probably pause for about 2 minutes before I think of something smart to say. Bieksa's one's easy. So Kevin Bieksa, I drafted him in Bowling Green. He played 4 years. He was a good player, but no, we weren't sure we were going to sign him or not. So we sent him to Manitoba on an ATO, an amateur tryout agreement, as you know, Velsey, an ATO. And we said, he'll play a couple games. We'll see if we sign him or not. So the first night there, he did not play. But he got in a fight with Fedorov after the game in the bar at Earl's. Yes. And what happened was he threw a straw across the room and it hit Fedorov. Now, Fedorov is 6'4", 230. Much bigger than Sergey. Much bigger than Kevin. And so he says, come on, rookie, we're going outside. So Kevin Bieksa turns to Dallas Eakins, our captain, and says, what should I do? He said, go outside and fight him. He said, I'll get sent home. I'm on an ATO. They'll send me home. He said, no, they won't. Go fight him. So he comes out, he one punches him, cuts him, knocks him out. And he comes back in the parking lot at Earl's, for God's sake. It's April.
I know that, Earl's.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, the weather, it's not snowy. It's Edmonton or Winnipeg when it's nice.
Yeah.
So now he's talking to himself. He said, oh, they're going to send me down tomorrow. And Dallas Eakins told him, you don't know our boss. They're going to sign you tomorrow. And that's what we did.
I love that.
Oh, that's such a good story.
That is great. That is a legendary story. And Bieksa has become he had a great career in the NHL, and he's become an excellent broadcaster. Berkey had a huge hand in that. One last thing. Any tips or tricks from an Irishman for St. Paddy's Day on Monday?
Yeah, get out of the bar early. It's amateur hour. St. Patrick's Day is amateur hour. I go to church usually. I got to work. I don't know if I mentioned that. I got to work on Monday, which really grinds my gears. But typically I go to mass in the morning. I go to a parade if there is one. Then I go to the bar in the afternoon. I'm home by supper time. New Year's Eve, St. Patrick's Day, they're amateur hours. For people who don't drink, they drink once a month or once a year. It's really offensive to people like me that work at it.
Brian, awesome. You are the best. Thank you so much for hopping on the show. As always, every time you're on here, we have a great time. Be well, have a great weekend, and don't work too hard on Monday, okay?
Okay, thanks, guys.
That's Brian Burke. Absolutely tremendous, as always. Thank you to the people who sent it. We had a bunch of questions that came in via the text line and the nasty chat as well. But the story with Bieksa,
it's so good.
My old boss was the PR guy for the Moose at the time, and he mentioned that to me. I'm like, that is nuts. And the fact that Brian Burke is the guy that signed Kevin Bieksa after that happened is incredible too. So
I love it.
The legend of the game, man. That is what it is. And that stuff does happen from time to time, but character, man, goes a long way.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So it was he's got so many stories, and I always try to press him with some of these stories.
It was absolutely fantastic. Great get, Belsey. Great get, as always, getting Brian Burke. The story about him coming in when he bought the Tri-City Americans with Daryl Porter and Glenn Sather, and Berkey goes in and is like, you guys get your head out of your ass, or you're going to be on the next flight and bus out of here.
We need you guys to play a certain way. It's got to be strong. It's got to be tough. If you don't want to play the right way, you won't be here.
And the next game, you guys.
No, that game. Because this was before the game. He was trying to motivate us.
In the locker room before the game.
He
and
was trying
then
to
you
motivate
guys
us,
went out and
smoked 7-1.
Not bad. Close one.
Hilarious.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat. When we return, it'll be our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta, giving us the scoop around the National Hockey League. It's busy time. We're in the stretch drive, and Pags will fill us in as usual. We got to step out for a quick break, but more Hello Hockey right after this.
Two guys and a goalie.
I don't mind analytics. I just don't like when people are like only analytics and only this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, guy is, and so he's horrible. And I'm like, let's watch the tape. And then let's look at those analytics and say why some of that stuff happened before we make our decisions.
Cass is good in the sheets. The Excel spreadsheets.
I was going to say,
like
Cass, what do you think of analytics? By the way, this episode will be called Cassalytics. Hey, I think it's got to be.
Yeah. Two guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Majot Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Hello Hockey, live on location at the Downtown Community Arena, just outside of Rogers Place, as part of Rogers Place, I should say, in Edmonton. Belsey and Gazzola with you. Ben Thompson back at EST Global HQ. We're going to have Dave Pagnotta stop by in a few minutes. We'll get to Benny's blind rankings, and we'll also have Belsey's Saturday picks. We will have Leslie, I think, from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Awesome. We're here on location for the Heavy Hockey Showdown, which is about to happen at noon. Belsey and I will be on the ice. Fundraiser for SACE, and they've had some funding shortfalls, so this is a big one for them, and Leslie will kind of give us the scoop. Again, if anybody's interested, wants to know more, or if you want to donate, perhaps you can go to our EdmontonSportsTalk.com website, obviously, and in the header, it'll say HH Showdown. That's the Heavy Hockey Showdown, and it'll take you to the site where there's a silent auction going on. Or there was one yesterday. There's a 50-50 here. Robert Clark, the Oilers anthem singer, will be singing the anthems. Hunter the Lynx will be here. There's going to be some fun stuff for kids that are coming down. And then obviously it's all in support of a great cause, the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. So Leslie will stop by after Dave joins us in a couple of minutes. You can text us 780-218-9999. You can get into the nasty chat as well. Of course, portions of this hour brought to you by Summit at the Silent Ice Center. Join us on the 3rd floor of the Silent Ice Center, a place where great food, buds, and bevies come together. Wicked game day specials with big screens and sound. Here's a couple of texts before Dave hops on, because I know he's going to patch in a couple of minutes. This one came in from Cal in the park. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about this, Sean. Cal says, sorry for the length of this text, but how much of the fragility of this team, Oilers, is based around the performance of Connor McDavid? Although some of his wife's action, Lauren's actions, say that he's going to re-sign here in Edmonton, there has been nothing from Connor to confirm or deny that. I am sure the NHLPA has pressure on him to get the right amount of money. I would guess that there is some push from his outer circle to go back home. We can agree that this has not been a typical Connor type year, and there appears to be an issue that we, the fans, cannot see. If the Oilers do win the cup this year, right now, is it Leon's cup? What say you?
I think Connor's re-signing here. I don't think that Draisaitl would have re-signed for as long as he did if there wasn't some form of discussion between him and McDavid. There might be something wrong with McDavid. He might be hurt. He might be sick. He doesn't look normal.
He's not having a Connor McDavid. He's like right up there in scoring, but he's not having a Connor McDavid.
Yeah, and that will happen. But I mean, he played a lot, played the Four Nations. It was intense hockey, and now you're coming back and it's not as intense. And maybe those guys were flying around the ice, and so a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but some of them got hurt. So you can't, there could be something legitimately wrong with Connor McDavid. So that could be it. And maybe that's why you just see, where his game is at. And the reality is he's still putting up a lot of points.
Yes, he is.
So we're just so used to Connor McDavid doing crazy things every single game. And, sometimes it's hard, and sometimes teams figure you out a little bit and they defend you differently. But I can see his game rising the closer we get to playoffs. I think he'll be a factor, and he still is. So
we talked about this a bit on the post game last night. He's not playing 20 minutes tonight. He's playing 25.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He's more. I swear to God, he's got to be worn out to a certain extent. I think he's going to be okay. Like the contract thing,
I don't think he's worried about the contract thing because he's going to get his money.
Yeah.
This isn't like if Connor doesn't put up 150 points and he puts up 100, he's not going to lose $2 million. He's getting what he wants because that's just the type of player he is. This is not an Evan Bouchard situation where it's like, okay, well, his game is the way he's playing is taking money off the table.
Right.
So Connor, I don't think is worried about the contract in any way, shape, or form.
All right, good answer. Cal, thank you for the text. Cal in the park with that one. Norman at Combine is sending us a photo from Fox Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Him and Sticky Rice are there.
Yeah.
He says the California Club is outstanding. They're having a little coffee. I think there's that looks like a latte. Pinkies up, Norm says. Very nice. That is great stuff. Stanley in YYC says, good luck at your game today, guys. For a great cause. Berkey is always awesome to have on the show.
Yeah,
I'm off to play my game.
Just following up with their conversation about Connor McDavid.
Yes.
And Easy just says, if Connor McDavid is injured and they choose not to put him on IR to use his cap at the deadline, it's more incompetence from management. That's a stretch. He's clearly not Tkachuk injured, but there's something going on there. And so maybe he's just got some nagging injuries. So you can't automatically just, go straight to the IR. And I know that everybody's doing that stuff, or at least that's what it seems like. But
as David Pagnotta says, they do investigate that.
They do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dave Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey Insider, standing by, ready to go. Portions of this hour are brought to you by Performance Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, a clinic built specifically for the athlete and all of us. With a full team of physiotherapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, and acupuncturists, all here to help you live pain-free. Come see us today at our South Edmonton location. Visit performancechiro.com to book your appointment. Pegs, I need a session at Performance Chiropractic after playing hockey last night. Belzy and I are about to hit the ice for the Heavy Hockey Showdown in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. So a fundraiser, great charity. And did you play hockey last night? I got a nice message from you after I sent you and Belzy a funny video that I thought was hilarious. So how are we doing today, Pegs?
I was out, but I was not on the ice. I could use some ice right now. And chiropractic. I don't know if that'll help me, but yeah.
Or massage.
Long night, but a good one.
Yeah.
Anything. Just you know what? Brand new body. No, no. You can if you like.
Oh no, I just like to send you guys funny stuff, and vice versa. All right, what do you got for Pegs? A week after trade deadline recap.
What's going on in the wonderful world of the NHL? There's got to be something brewing.
Well, he had the follow up to how the whole Rantanen thing unfolded.
That would be
Can we get some clarity, because we reported on
there
the
was
trade
a Hornets
side,
nest that got kicked,
and then there was reporting on the signing side, and I had to explain it to people on the post game or pregame show that Saturday. I said we were talking about the trade; it wasn't going to happen. They weren't close. Other people were reporting about the signing. It's great that you can come to an agreement with the player and his agent, but if you can't make the trade to get his rights, you didn't really get anywhere, did you?
Correct. And yes, Edmonton, Rod Brindamore, honestly, he just screwed everything up by saying 4-team list. There was no 4-team. There were 4 preferred teams that he wanted to go to, but he would have and was open to signing everywhere. In other markets. So there were more than 14. He was considered the top 4: Dallas, Florida, Toronto, Edmonton. But there were others, and there were teams that were out of the playoffs that tried to get him. It didn't work, and all this is moot because he's a Dallas Star for the next 8 seasons plus this one. So would he have signed in Edmonton? Yeah. Were the Oilers close to trading for him? No. And that's the easiest way to sum it up.
There you go.
So to sum this whole thing up, there was a contract talk.
I don't even know. Hold on. I don't even know if there was, and I have not yet gotten clarity, because it doesn't sound like there was an actual negotiation. You've got to agree to the trade first before you agree to the contract. And this goes for Toronto. This goes for any other, Vegas, Florida, LA, any other team. Sign here? Yes. Should we pursue a trade? Sure. Can we make a trade happen? No. All right. Are you sure? Yep. Cool. We'll see at the GM meetings. Like that's kind of how it went down.
All right.
In a very loose, comical. I'm adding some humor, or trying to. But
I like humor.
I like humor too. I just know that once again, like last week, kicked the Hornets nest, and it was just like so for me, this is my first foray into like the media world. Like I get a kick out of it because to me, like things aren't that big of a deal. And so like if I was right, you were wrong, you were right, I was wrong. Like okay, cool, whatever. Like at the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. And so like I just thought it was hilarious because it's like
how do you besmirch what we do?
Yeah, I was just sitting there laughing. I'm like, okay, cool.
Look. I mean, I'm sure Tom's had to deal with it a little bit more in market than I have, but I mean, end of the day, who gives a crap? Doesn't like there's a lot of truth and there's a lot of stretching of the truth that's been out there over the last week, and believe me, it's not exclusive to Edmonton. So this kind of stuff happens a lot. But you try to piece things together, and you don't get the full story until later, and this and that. But again, I could tell you with 100%, I would say even more, but technically it doesn't exist. But with 100% certainty, he would have signed in Edmonton if they came to terms on a trade. But they weren't close. Like, I can go approach a girl at a bar and say hi doesn't mean I'm dating her after I said hi.
Are you sure?
You've tried this. Kidding. Dave Pagnotta, our Hello Hockey Insider, joining us now. Yeah. How about the Leafs and like we saw Brad Trey Living have to come out and be like, we want Mitch Marner long term. We're not planning on moving. Like he's a big part of it. And he kept it at like a minute and a half, 2 minutes where he kind of addressed it. And he's like, I want to get in front of it.
Yeah.
What is the ripple effect of that? Because there's been all kinds of speculation around Marner.
Yeah, I don't think it affects much, to be honest. And the Leafs knew at the start of the season that Mitch didn't want to talk contract and he wasn't going to explore moving or waiving his no move. But when you get offered Mikko Rantanen, or presented, I should say, Mikko Rantanen, you got to circle back. So they did. They said, hey, has anything changed? Do you want to sign now? Do you still want to wait? Would you waive? And he wouldn't, then he wants to wait. I think he understands. He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and his agent understand what was involved, and they'll deal with it in the summer. He wants to be a Leaf for life, but he also wants to get paid. And he will make $30 million next season. Or another
cutting
team.
out a little bit there.
I think he's got to dial up.
We got to wait for at least June.
Are you using dial-up internet?
Am I?
Okay, let's fire one more at Dave. See if that internet holds up. It's breaking up a bit. It's breaking up a bit, Paisan. We'll fire off one more, and we'll let you enjoy the rest of the weekend. What do you got for him?
Yeah, well, just Brad Marchand situation. Reports obviously came out that he wanted to re-sign with the Bruins at, I think, he was asking for 7, just north of 7. The Bruins didn't want to give him more than 6. What's the situation there? Do you see something in free agency where he comes back? What's going on in that world?
Tough situation. He was hurt by what happened, by how things went down. And I understand it. I mean, friendly deal. You follow in the footsteps of the guys in front of you and before you, and you weren't able to reach that deal. You thought, it's not like he came in and said, give me $10 million a season. Like he went in out of respect. I guess for his age, that was the primary argument from and Neely's side, but I don't. Unless there's a significant change in their mindset this summer, I don't really envision a return.
All right, Pegs is cutting out. He's cutting out. All right. Well, Benny, we'll get Dave. We'll let him go on and enjoy his weekend. So, Dave, you were cutting out there. Go have fun this weekend. Mix in a water on Monday. Unlike Brian Burke, I don't think Dave's working on Monday. Actually, he probably will.
He probably is.
Yeah. There's our Hello Hockey.
Yeah, that Marchand situation is very interesting because he has been very much like, okay, I'm going to try to help this team as much as possible.
The Bruins?
Yeah.
So you think he does go back there?
Well, I don't know if he's going to go back there. I mean, I think he feels probably a little bit burned because of it, but you go and you take team-friendly deal after team-friendly deal, and then all of a sudden the team goes, yeah, just by the way, no, you're out. That'd be a little bit tough.
Hey, look who's back.
Oh, Dave's back.
Dave, are you coming back on? Give us a thumbs up. He's coming back on. Yeah. All right. Were you in a dead zone? What are you?
Is this better? I don't know what happened. I took the Wi-Fi off.
It was cutting out like you were on a 56K dial-up.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, boys.
That's all good.
It's all good. Benny will clean it up for later. But anyway, do you want to give your thoughts on Marchand, or do we want to move on?
Let's
because it really did cut out.
You got nothing? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I would besmirch and attack my internet provider, but I don't think your arena would appreciate it.
It's surprisingly bad here too. So just anyway. Brad Marchand.
All that money.
Yeah.
Can't pay Vladdy Guerrero. So Brad Marchand. He was hurt. He was hurt by the situation. I don't know what you picked up. I'll just start it from the top. But
Sure.
He was hurt by what was going on. It's not like he went out there and asked for $10 million. Like he took a team friendly deal from the get go, like the guys before him. He wanted to get paid a reasonable price tag based on his performance and output. And they just weren't there, and they weren't looking to get into that ballpark. It's not like I know there were reports of $3 million, $4 million a year. That wasn't the case, at least towards the end. But they weren't willing to get to the table, and that kind of just ended it. And at the very least, they gave him enough respect to say, all right, where do you want to go? Let's try to make it work. Because LA, Vegas, there were other teams that chimed in, that poked around. But he wanted to go to Florida, and that was his decision, and he ends up there. If he stays there beyond this season, would I be surprised? No. But that's a discussion for after the season.
So, and here's a question then, because all these teams, they expect players to take team-friendly deals. And, there is a loyalty in hockey where guys are like, hey, I want to be with this team and I want to, build something here. I want to sign for 8 years. When you see stuff like this happen, A, why would I sign for 8 years? Mm-hmm. B, why do players will you see loyalty start to change a little bit? Because I bet you this has gone around the league. And I think there's players that are probably pissed about it because it's like, okay, well, I have taken team-friendly deal to help you guys build your team. But then for you guys to be like, no, we're not even going to engage in this. That's tough.
Look, as you boys know, and Belzy, you know this more than the two of us, but the boys talk. And they talk a lot. And that spreads from one dressing room to another. Just like mono that number of years ago. This is different, but it does spread.
Yep.
And
nice tie-in.
Yeah, tried. But the guys are cognizant of this, and they don't have short memories. Certain things kind of stick in there. So if you're looking at different options and you're a top tier talent, you're going to have that in the back of your head when Boston comes calling July 1 and trying to lure you in. Guys want to know what the direction of a team is if you're trying to compete for a championship or playoffs or whatever. That's one thing, but how your guys are treated is almost as important. So this will have a bit of a ripple effect. To what extent, we got to wait and see.
Dave Pagnotta with us, our Hello Hockey insider. Dave, we did that trade deadline recap last Saturday. It was a lot of fun. We had Hustler on from Winnipeg Sports Talk, and then we had our good friend and colleague Irf Gafar on from Vancouver, and I asked her, what's going on in Vancouver? And Irf was doing this. He's like, Tommy, lots of stuff going on around here. And Irf's right in there, right?
Yes, he is.
Seriously, what are you hearing out of Vancouver? Because they are in the mix for the postseason. They've had to deal with this Demko thing. They go and they sign Lankinen long term. They trade away JT Miller. Elias Pettersson is not having a good year. They don't trade Brock Besser away. And you hear things about management this, owner that, coach this. Is Rick Tocchet sticking around? What's your sense of everything that's going on in Van right now?
We're still on in Van, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. It's an S show.
Good.
It continues to be.
What word was that? Sorry.
Can you say that again?
Starts with it. Yep. Okay. There we go. So it's. It's hard.
You seem disappointed.
I am. I'm not mad at them. I'm disappointed, and that should be worse for that group. I mean, look.
Good.
Yes, playoffs are, that's one thing. It doesn't seem like there's a definitive direction right now with that group. Yeah. And, the season for them needs to end for a variety of reasons. One, they got to figure out this Brock Besser business.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's ready to walk. He was ready to go. He's disappointed. His agent probably more. Ben Hankinson. You've got to figure out what to do with Elias Pettersson this summer and get him on track. You've got to add offense to this group. You've got to find a center because you traded one, and your other one's not doing so great. And almost most important of all, you better keep your captain happy, because in 2 years, as of now, he can do whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an even bigger disaster if he goes in a different direction. So everything that this team does, at least over the next 18 months, 14, 15 months, whatever, until not this July, next July, when Quinn will be eligible to sign an extension, everything between now and then should be focused on making this team better and keeping him around. So this season, playoffs, sure. I don't think there's enough in the tank for them to pull this off. Obviously, we'll see. Whatever, 17 games to go or whatever it is. But it might be the better thing for this organization to miss the playoffs, so everyone has a little coming to Jesus moment, looks themselves in the mirror and says, all right, what are we doing here?
Right. I have one last question, unless you want to sprinkle one in.
ahead.
This one is very pressing.
Oh, you sighed. Oh, boy.
No. It's actually really good. Best city to experience St. Patrick's Day from your travels around the National Hockey League.
Oh, boy. I mean, Chicago.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
I can't, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember too much of that experience over St. Paddy's Day weekend, but definitely Chicago's up there. You know what? I'm going back to this, and I've said this a bunch, Columbus.
Really?
I've spent the St. Paddy's Day weekend over there in Columbus as well. Also fantastic. Also,
is
really
Columbus
good.
sneaky?
Yes.
Very. I've been saying this for years.
Yes.
Years. Sneaky good city. And they've improved over time. Stadium Series weekend, lovely. Yeah, it's a great low key sneaky town. And I've been saying this: if you can road trip yourselves over to Columbus, you want to do a boys trip, catch an Oiler game, if it's over a weekend or something like that, you will not be disappointed with Columbus.
It is more than a hop, skip, and a jump away from Edmonton, but yes, it is sneaky good. Yeah.
That would be a journey. Like, you're going to follow the team. You're not going straight. I don't know if there are any directs from Edmonton to, because there's none from Toronto.
It's a 35-hour drive.
I mean, that's aggressive, but
it takes you about 2.5 days to do it.
Maybe fly somewhere to another, like a Chicago or Pittsburgh or something, and then
that's doable.
And then jump over.
Yeah, that works. We had Brian Burke on here in hour number 1 of the show, and he goes, all those guys going drinking on St. Paddy's Day all night long, that's amateur hour. What you do is you go to church, and then you go for a bite to eat and some drinks in the afternoon, and then you go home for dinner, and that's how you do it. That's Berkey saying that. He is through and through
but
Irish.
Berkey also followed it up by saying, like, I'm drinking all the time.
Yeah. He's like, you got to practice.
Yeah, it's like that's a Tuesday for him. I understand the first part. You want to go to church to pray for how the rest of the day is going to go.
Yes.
Please keep me alive. Then you have something to eat because you need a base. You need a solid
base. Yep.
A solid base.
Now we're thinking.
And then you hit the bar, and then whatever happens. Now, I will let you in on a secret. Tommy, you may know this. I don't know if this is exclusively an Italian thing. I don't think so. And I don't know if it's a placebo effect situation or not. Take a shot of olive oil.
Yeah.
I've heard this.
Now, it doesn't prevent you from being hungover. It coats and lines the stomach so you don't revisit what you've drank.
It's
I have
endurance.
heard this, and actually, my rookie party, when I was with the Dallas Stars organization in Iowa, Mario Scalzo did that, and I was like, "Scalz, what are you doing?" He's like, "It coats your stomach, so that I don't puke later."
Yep.
Huh.
It coats. It's an extra lining. It coats the lining. It keeps it all in there. Again, you'll probably feel like garbage the next day, but at least everything stayed in.
Yep, that reminds me of the Kroll show where you see he does the European guy, and he's like, "And we'll never get fat and stay skinny because we eat everything with olive oil." Oh, it's a great bit.
That's good.
Paisan, fantastic work as always. Thank you for switching over to another room that had a good connection from our friends over at that other telecommunications company. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy St. Paddy's Day. Don't drink too much olive oil. Have some more of the good stuff, okay?
You too, boys. See ya.
All right, there you go. There's our Hello Hockey insider, David Pagnotta, giving us the scoop and kind of the follow-up to what happened in and around trade deadline day. Okay, we're going to step out for a quick break. When we return, we're going to chat with some of the ladies from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. We're here on location for the Heavy Hockey Showdown at the Downtown Community Arena in Edmonton. Belzy and I will be on the ice and representing Team Edmonton Sports Talk. You can text us 780-218-9999. You can get to the nasty chat if you're listening in Calgary on Sportsnet Radio. You can get to the text line as well. More Hello Hockey coming up right after this.
Experience a new era of well-being with Balance. Our innovative hot tea elixir harnesses 10 natural herbs and spices masterfully steeped to unlock powerful benefits to combat inflammation, boost digestion, ease joint tension, and soothe your mind, all while reducing anxiety and promoting better sleep. Rooted in Ayurvedic tradition and enhanced by modern science, Balance is your answer to bloating, IBS, restless nights, and daily stress. Imagine how a simple cup can reset your natural rhythms, helping you wake up refreshed and ready to conquer the day. With each sip, feel your body re-energize and your spirit lift, redefining your health from the inside out. It's time to elevate your wellness. Order your Balance today at sensenaturals.ca.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Movies, comics, and television. That's what you get with Friends of Edmonton Sports Talk, the MCTV podcast. Join hosts Corey Graham and Mark Majot Monday and Friday nights at 7 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Join friend of EST, Guy Flaming, for the Pipeline Show, Monday nights at 8 and Saturday at noon, as he has you covered with CHL, CJHL, USHL, NAHL, NCAA, and U Sports, plus the World Juniors, Frozen Four, and NHL Draft on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. The Elks Call is the newest Edmonton Elks podcast located in Edmonton, discussing everything Elks. Join friends of EST, Scout and Catherine, Friday nights at 8 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Is Hello Hockey with Tom Gazzola and Sean Bell.
All right, welcome back inside the Downtown Community Arena at Rogers Place. Tom Gazzola with you. Belzy had to step out for a second. We'll get to Belzy's Saturday picks and Benny's blind rankings in a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about the Heavy Hockey Showdown with a couple of ladies from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Right before we do that, I should mention that we want everybody to discover balance. A hot tea elixir crafted from 10 potent herbs and spices steeped to perfection to reduce inflammation, heal digestion, soothe anxiety, and promote revitalizing sleep. Redefine your health from the inside out with a centuries-old solution to today's modern health challenges. Elevate your wellness. Order your balance today at sensenaturals.ca. Welcome, ladies. Lena and Leslie from SACE. Okay, ladies, like we did this tournament last year. Great fundraiser, obviously in support of the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. Year number 3, right? We'll start with you, Lena. Why is this important, especially this year? What can you tell us about the event? And just put the mic a little bit closer to you. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Go for it.
Well, we've been so excited to partner with Heavy Hockey for the last couple of years, but this year in particular, it's just great timing because we are experiencing some funding cuts from the government of Alberta. So the timing, it lines really well. This is a time when we desperately need that community support. So to have so many people rallying behind us with this game is really incredible, and we could not be more excited and more grateful for the support.
It is a lot of fun, and I know the cause is the main thing. But when people go, well, what does SACE provide? Leslie, what would you tell them, just the Cole's Notes version, because they might not be familiar with it.
We provide all sorts of support for any survivors that have experienced sexual assault in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
We do everything from counseling, which is, of course, a core of the work that we do, but we also do a lot of work in prevention. We have an entire public education team that goes out and meets with businesses and schools to talk to them about healthy relationships, consent, and make sure we're not just helping a problem that's already happened, but trying to find a solution.
Right. That's important. Absolutely. Okay. So I'll go back to like the current challenges, like I know the goal of this tournament is 50,000. I know we're working towards that, but with everything that's happened in the last little while, I've heard it's like a gut punch and all of that. So can you give people the scoop on the challenges and where we're at and how much we're looking to get to make sure that this program is in place down the road and we can provide that platform for people who need it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, some of the funding that we get from the government, we're still getting a chunk of that, but the fund cut that we're experiencing is specifically for our counseling program, and that's what's caused the pause to intakes that we're experiencing or that we've had to implement for the time being.
That was announced a few days ago,
and that
right?
was just on Monday that we announced that. So in terms of like hard numbers, we're still sort of figuring out where things are at, and honestly, with the community support that we've received, we're feeling just so inspired and empowered and excited, and we have already received a lot of corporations that are reaching out and wanting to support us.
Okay, good.
And like again, this event, we're just blown away by the support. So we'll see how things go in the next couple of weeks, but we are just very committed to keep doing the work that we're doing and really hopeful that we can get that waitlist back open with some support from not only the community, but hopefully the government as well.
How many people are served by SACE? And is there a number that you guys have every year, or does it fluctuate?
It fluctuates and it depends on the program. In our public education program, we see over 20,000, or we deliver education to over 20,000 people in the greater Edmonton area a year. On the counseling side, last year we had over 2,000 counseling clients. And then we also have a PACS, which is police and court support program. And we have hundreds of people that we support in that program every year as well.
Pretty all-encompassing program. So very important, obviously, too. How about today, Leslie? What can people, if they want to come down, if they're listening or watching and they want to come hang out? We did mention we do have on our website on EdmontonSportsTalk.com in the header the Heavy Hockey Showdown. So if people want to support, they can go to that link. But if they do come down and see us schmucks on the ice, what else are they going to get for their experience?
We've got a table set up here with lots of information on our services, ways to donate. Myself and Lena and some of our colleagues are here. So if they want to host their own fundraiser outside of just this, if they want to support, they can go online. As you said, there's the online Just Giving page. It's already at, I think, about 27,000 last I looked, which is incredible. This is a signature event for us. So I think there's going to be a lot of fun to be had as well. And we're trying to kind of change the mood a little bit. It's been a little bit dire over the last couple of weeks. We've had a lot of tears, but today we get to have a lot of fun. So,
and there's free popcorn.
Yeah.
That fixes everything.
Draw, so,
No. Like you said, tough times lately, but people are rallying and you guys are in a great spirit. So that helps us, and hopefully we can raise a little bit more today. Thank you, ladies, so much. Keep doing the great work that you're doing, and appreciate your time. Have a
Thank you.
lovely weekend.
Good luck on the ice.
Yeah.
I'm going to need it.
We'll cheer you on. We got you.
Thank you, Lita and Leslie from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. If you'd like to check out more, like I said, we have links on our website at edmontonsportstalk.com. Okay, Belzy's going to step back in if he's around. I don't know where he went. There he is. He's good to go. Okay, thank you, ladies, so much. We're going to go get our butt kicked by our producer in Benny's blind rankings, so we're going to need luck with that as well. Have fun. Lita and Leslie from SACE, check them out. And great cause, and we're happy to be a part of it and to be here on location. Benny, are you ready for your blind rankings, and how much of a whooping are we going to get? Yeah, you're ready to go. I knew it.
We'll see.
Yeah, great stuff there. Belzy, any final thoughts on Leslie and Lena, who are excellent?
Tremendous cause.
Yeah,
just that's all that really needs to be said. It's fantastic. So I'm excited to be able to play here today and help support.
Perfect. You do like to play in charity events, and you're great at them, and you do mingle well with everybody. Okay. We're going to get into it, but before we get into Benny's blind rankings, I will remind everyone the portions of this hour brought to you by local public eatery. Dean Lowry says it's the best place to watch any big event. And also you can use promo code LPE9 to get $9 off your order of $30 or more on DoorDash. Visit local public eatery locations in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Calgary, and Vancouver.
Nice.
Okay, Benny.
All right. Today's category.
Shut up, Benny.
Hey, 3-3. It's tie series right now.
Yeah.
Today's category is going to be teams with the most pressure to win a Stanley Cup.
Oh, I like this.
So playoff times coming here. So I would like to mention, please factor in like contracts. Obviously, like some teams are all have a lot of expiring deals. Some teams just need to win a cup because of age. Factor it all in. That's the advice I'll give you.
Fine.
The first team, the first team is the Carolina Hurricanes.
Their window is kind of closed. I look at it as closing.
They don't. Do you see them having that much pressure? Because I don't. Because their thing has always been like, we need to get a legitimate player to help put us over the hump.
They had one for like 3
year
weeks.
after year after year, we're just always kind of the same. I'm going to go with. We are going to go with 4.
I'm cool with 4.
Valid. It's a valid take there, Belzy. Okay,
thank you.
1 second.
They like their winners there in that whole storm surge.
They
and
do,
everything,
but I mean,
think
just
the noise from the fan base. I
yeah,
think
but even
is-
just the way they draft, right? Like, didn't Dundon come out and say we're not taking any defensemen? Like, you got some stud in the first round. You got some studs on the defense,
sure,
but like, you're not going to draft a Cale McCarr. Like, come on,
that would be silly.
Why would you do that?
Great. Yeah.
But Slavin's really good. So
Burns isn't going to play forever.
No. And they've got studs on defense, but like, you're going to have to round out your team. I think that window's closing. I think there's other teams that are better. So yeah, 4.
All right. Who's next, Bunny?
All righty. Colorado Avalanche is next for you guys.
Oh,
yeah, I like that one.
Well, they did win one recently.
No, they did win one, but like,
does that change?
There is pressure for this team to win.
It's a decently good hockey market.
Dude, they just traded Rantanen, and then they made a ton of trades.
So
I think it's a 2 or a 3.
2.
Sure.
Let's go 2 for Colorado.
All right. Let me make sure I spell this right. Okay. Avalanche go 2. We have the media circuit, Toronto Maple Leafs. Where do they sit?
May I?
Yes, you can.
Yes. Okay. Fans want a Stanley Cup, but they're so used to not getting one. 1967 was a long time ago. So, having said that, like, I know it is a center of the universe, especially in the hockey world type of situation. The media can be boisterous there, some of our friends and colleagues. And I know internally they want to probably win a Stanley Cup, but that place is a money machine. I am happy to put them in at 5.
No.
You disagree with that?
Yeah.
The reason I'm they're content with just existing and being competitive.
I think
and teasing.
You got to listen to what this little rat over here said. He's like, contract situations.
Yeah.
What their team's going to start to look like.
Right.
So you got Marner, whose contract is up.
Gotcha.
It's coming up.
Can you win with Marner?
I don't know.
Have they won with Marner? Have they got past the second round? No.
But the point is there pressure to win a Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
I think they're under a ton of pressure to win a Stanley Cup.
So do you want
to I would take them higher than 5. I would maybe slot them in at 3.
You don't want to put them in at 1?
I don't know if I want to put them in at 1, but I do think that there is a ton of pressure if you're a Toronto Maple Leaf to win a Stanley Cup. Matthews, what's going to happen with him in a few years?
He's going to go to the new Arizona franchise. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
so this is my point. So like you got to try to win a Stanley Cup soon. Let's slot him in at 3.
Sure. Because I feel like I know where Benny's going.
You.
Anaheim 1. I'm just kidding.
You probably will.
Hey, playoff teams.
Yes.
Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers. Where do you put them?
1.
What makes you say that?
Do you see the stuff we see every game on the post-game show?
Because every pundit across hockey literally said that this team was winning a Stanley Cup at the start of the season.
They're still the favorite.
They are under a ton of pressure to win.
Best player in the
world. Two best players
in the world.
Arguably.
Yeah. Guy just hit 100 points yesterday.
Yeah. I think they're number 1.
Yeah. Okay. And like I know in Toronto, I said they're just happy to be a money machine. There is, I feel like, some truth to that. But here, as much as this is a business, everybody, fans, I think the media, ownership, players, is feeling the burn. One is satisfactory.
Can you say it like that again?
Feeling the burn.
Yeah. The Oilers are 1, man.
There was a part of me last night that was kind of like I was curious to see what the venue last night would have looked like if the Oilers lost. Because I was down there with the guys at Westgate.
Thank you for showing up yesterday.
Yeah. Just to see what a live post game show would have looked like with an atmosphere there. But
it was great.
Oilers clutched up. That's good. All righty.
They did.
Number 5 is left, and that is the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fair.
I think that's adequate. Like that's a really good franchise. It's a sound franchise, stable, great GM, good coach, excellent players. But if they don't win and they lose in the second round, there might be a little bit of noise from the fan base and the team will be disappointed, but it's not going to be chaos.
They have
but
8
your
more years
window
of
with them
Rantanen.
is just exactly.
Their window.
They've got Heiskanen for like four more years. Their window's open.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a ton of pressure right now off them.
Yeah. The Dallas Stars are cruising at 80 miles per hour on one of those big Texas freeways.
Yep.
Comfortably.
I will crown you guys the winner of this one. That's
to
me there was tears to this. I think the Oilers and the Avalanche and Leafs were in that upper echelon on this list of pressure. And then the Canes and the Stars were 4 and 5. But yeah, I see why you guys think Oilers are 1. I agree. So 4-3 you guys. Unfortunately, gotta get you back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Too kind. Well played, Benny. Very well played. That was fun. But like the Avs, the window, like you could say, hey, it might be a little bit tight. But then with the Leafs, like I think people just expect the Leafs to not come through.
Yeah, because people hate the Leafs.
Yep. Valid. And then
but there's a lot of pressure on the Leafs to win a cup because they've got a good hockey team.
Sure.
And they keep adding good players. Yeah.
That was a good one. Good Benny's blind rankings. Well done.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot. Share your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Matt Hyman watching says, I see the old school Sabre starter jackets they brought back. Any chance Canadian teams bring them back.
They should.
I know the CFL brought back the starter jackets.
They're
Like the
so
Elks had
cool,
them
yeah.
and they looked. I never liked those jackets.
No?
I don't know why.
That's tough. They're awesome. They're awesome.
I don't know if it was just like because they were basically a quarter zip, right? But thicker.
Yep.
I don't know. They're not my favorite, but Matt Hyman likened the Sabres version of the starter's jacket. I didn't see it. We'll have to take a look. What do we got here? Guy Flaming, host of the Pipeline Show, coming up next right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, says, how late does the charity event go tonight? Will you guys still be there when I roll in for the Oil Kings game? Guy on the broadcast tonight with Matt Barrett. Guy, I will be at the Oil Kings game. Elsie, where will you be?
I need to get back to Silent Ice. Our 17s have game 2. Our 15s have game 2 with a chance to win it. So I got to go support my teams.
I respect that very much. You guys did have a tough loss, the one you coached.
Don't talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna.
Man,
I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be.
Still salty.
I know you are.
well.
Okay, we have a few minutes left. That means we need to get to Bellsy's Saturday picks. 11 games on the NHL schedule. A few involving Canadian teams. Not a ton. There are some idle Canadian teams today, including Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. Let's take a look at action around the National Hockey League. Benny, feel free to chime in on these as well. The Sabres welcome in the Golden Knights at Key Bank Center.
I've
What do you
got
got?
the Knights winning. The Knights are up 1-0. It's in the second period. I think they're going to hold on to win that game. The next game we got at the 1 o'clock start, Devils and Penguins.
What say you? The Oilers fall to the Devils the other night.
The Devils are a little bit banged up, aren't they?
They are. No Dougie Hamilton, no Jack Hughes.
I'm going to go with the... Ooh, that's a tough one.
Why?
I'm going to go with the
He
Penguins.
loves Sid. Yeah, loves Sid.
I love Sid.
Well, it's his old teammate.
Yeah.
I love Sid. So I'm going to go with the Penguins.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
Okay, Penguin. Oh, Benny, anything? Anything?
No,
there?
you know what? I like it. Devils are a beat up group. So, sure.
Okay, I'll just say this on the next matchup. It's San Jose welcoming in Washington. Like, we know Washington's going to win this game. How many goals does Ovechkin get tonight?
2.
Oh.
Took
Because
the
he's,
words
what,
out of my
9
mouth.
away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Benny, you were going to say the same thing?
Yeah. I was thinking 2 goals for him, too. One of them empty
He's
netter,
got some
guaranteed.
good karma coming his way,
Guaranteed.
too.
Empty netter.
He's got good karma coming his way after giving up that goal the other day to, what's the kid's name there?
Protest?
Protest, yeah.
Hockey gods giveth.
Yeah.
Hockey
So he's going
gods
to get
taketh.
2
I like it.
All right,
this
Benny,
afternoon.
Benny likes it.
Capitals winning.
All right, Bruins and Lightning.
Nope, Hurricanes and Flyers
Well,
first.
I'm looking at the.
Well, you
you're
know what?
looking
You
at-
got to go in order of the times,
I'm going to look at
man.
that leagues list.
Like, unbelievable.
Okay, you do you.
You
This
just
is your
jumping,
picks.
jumping all over the place.
Fine.
Hurricanes are going to beat the Flyers. Every time I bet against the Flyers, they always come up and they just mess with my mojo. But not today, Flyers. Carolina's going to take it from you.
Okay.
Panthers, Canadians. Going to go with the Panthers.
Yeah, that's a safe pick.
Yeah. Senators and Leafs.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with the Sens.
It's going to get saucy today.
It is going to get saucy.
Oh.
I like the way that the Sens have played.
People like the way the Sens are playing in
I
general.
think that Dylan Cousins move was awesome.
Yeah.
I think he added another element to that team. I really like the Sens right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Sens over
Benny?
the Leafs.
Benny,
They're,
what would you say?
they're a desperate group. They're competing for a wild card spot. I mean, they're sitting pretty comfortable right now. They have a 5-point lead on Columbus for the top wild card spot. They're chasing Tampa, I believe, and they're similar in points. So yeah, Ottawa's playing well. They're a team that it was kind of like the past couple of years, like, hey, when is this team gonna hit its stride? It's starting to look like it. So good for people out in Ottawa.
I agree.
All right, next game.
Lightning Bruins. I'm going to go with the Lightning. I think these guys played each other fairly recently, and the Bruins won.
4-0.
But I think it's redemption day. Tampa.
Tampa's starting to ascend at the right time.
They're finding their stride.
I feel like Tampa is kind of maintain an open window. Like, I think they could be a sleeper pick.
Yep.
To be a cup contender this year.
Yep.
I really do.
Next game we've got is the Rangers and Blue Jackets. I've got the Blue Jackets winning that game. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but Blue Jackets they're looking legit. They're a good team.
Okay.
It's in Columbus. They're hard to play against in Columbus. Blue Jackets.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right,
Times have changed.
where are we going next? Because we're following your list.
We're going to go to the 6 o'clock game, Tommy.
Uh-huh.
Predators and Kings.
Okay.
Preds, sorry. Just not, they don't have it. Kings, you guys are going to get the win.
Kings want to
And
jump back into
you're going to
second.
leapfrog the others today. Next game, 6 o'clock as well. You got the Blues and Wild. I'm going to go with the Wild winning.
I'm going to be honest with you. That to me is the most boring matchup ever.
Yeah, it does seem very
I have no interest in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny,
They're two meh teams. Meh.
Yeah. 100%. And then the late game, you've got the Blackhawks and the Canucks. I'm going to go with the Canucks.
Vancouver jumping into that wild card spot. Eh?
Yeah. Those are my picks.
Bedard making his way home in Vancouver. So he might have a night tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not going to have a night. He's going
All
to get shut down.
No. And then
Hughes
he's
is
going to go
back,
to
right?
McDonald's.
Quinn Hughes is back. So yeah, he'll have a matchup.
Canucks.
I thought that was super interesting what Peg said about Quinn Hughes. You want to keep your captain happy in
Yeah, you
Vancouver.
do.
Clip it. We're going to have to clip that one because that's going to go on socials.
I agree. Yeah.
As we step up our social media game. Benny, your final thoughts on today's show. We had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, no, it was a great show. Burke, certified beauty. What an interview.
He's so
incredible
good.
stuff. Yeah, and I loved his insight with the fighting and everything too. Like that's like when you want to go to a guy about that topic, he's a guy to go to for that. So yeah, it was good. And then Pags with his usual insider stuff is pretty good. And I'm excited, man. Playoffs soon. I need it in my veins. Need that playoff thrill. So I'll be waiting for then.
Feel the burn.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, indeed. It's been a lovely show. Thank you to Lena and Leslie from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. We're here for the Heavy Hockey Showdown. It's about to get underway. Belzier and I are going to scramble, pack up our radio gear, put on our hockey gear, and get out on the ice and hopefully get a win for Team EST and raise as much funds as we can for SACE. Like the ladies were talking about, they had their government funding, some of it cut, and there have been corporations who have stepped up and people within the community through events like this, which is tremendous. Third year of this one, and we are so proud to be a part of it. So check it out. Not Hello Hockey, not on our site, but the Edmonton Sports Talk website. On the header, you can see the Heavy Hockey Showdown. And click that tab. It'll take you to their site. If you'd like to donate, that'd be great. And so that's excellent stuff. A lot of H's in there involving the word hockey, but we got through it. Tongue twisters be damned. It's been another fantastic show. Thank you to Brian Burke. Thank you to David Pagnotta. Thank you to Lena and Leslie from the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton for joining us. And, of course, to everybody who listened on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, Sportsnet Radio, of course. We love you. Thanks for being a part of it. And to those that watched on YouTube, you guys are great. For Sean Bell and Ben Thompson, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for tuning in to another edition of Hello Hockey. We will see you next Saturday. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.